One of the things we identified clearly, the first meeting that we had with the sort of board of directors, I guess, Chris and the team there, was, okay, well, what do you want, right? So, they're like, if you can't come in here and tell us clearly what you want or what you want this business to accomplish, then how are we supposed to advise you, right? And I was like a kick in the pants, and I was like, you know what? I've been, so thinking about, potentially selling the business or wrapping it up or being done with it, and it just really made me consider like what would this look like. And so one of the things that was a challenge for me is we were potentially looking at living overseas, and I had a bit of a shorter timeline. And that timeline got extended, but then it really made me wake up and realize, like, okay, if I'm going to be living overseas, I can't do all this myself anymore. I need to start putting a team together that can really execute and then sort of empowering them. So that piece for me was transformational, right? So really what was excellent. Some of the other pieces that we put together is from a financial perspective, I was pretty educated on the P&L and balance sheet sort of life. That part I understood pretty well. But some of the basic pieces, like incentivizing employees based on performance, sharing sort of profit sharing, doing sort of more strategic evaluations with our staff, I think that was a huge takeaway. That's something we're still implementing. But I can say, from a results perspective, we grew roughly about 50% from 22 to 23, and then another 50% from 21 to 22, and then 22 to 23 was another 50%. So it was 50 from 21 to 22, 50 from 22 to 23, and we're on target to make another 40% on top of that this year. So we've grown from a staff of, I believe, 9 when we started to 22 at this point. And our pipeline's never been fuller or bigger than it is right now. So one of the things I really got out of this process, I think, was intentionality, right? I'm part of a couple of peer groups, and they're mostly industry specific, and a lot of times things would sort of, I don't know, it becomes an echo chamber, right? So the way one company solves a problem becomes the way all the companies solve a problem, right? And a lot of times it makes quite a bit of sense to listen to people outside your industry because they see things from a different perspective or may have tackled a problem or a challenge in a way that most other same vertical business owners wouldn't, which I think is incredibly useful, right? I think that was one of the things. And I think that ultimately led me to question sort of what my ultimate intention was, right? So really, what do I want, right? And I think a lot of times you get so busy staring at the paper and keeping your head down doing the work that you forget why you're in it for the long haul and what sort of the outcomes should look like and what it should be. And I think that's the value that I truly got out of the program for me personally.